White House announces $300 million military aid package for Ukraine. Japan's Space One Kairos rocket explodes on inaugural flight. 2 New Zealand skiers killed after avalanche in Japan. Portugal in suspense as election yields no clear winner. Sam Altman rejoins OpenAI board of directors. South Koreans mourn as first celebrity panda heads to China.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Thursday, March 14th, and here are your top stories. The White House on Tuesday announced a $300 million military aid package for Ukraine, as Russian forces make battlefield gains, and a much larger aid proposal for ammunition and armor remains stuck in Congress. The White House's package announced Tuesday will include ammunition, anti-aircraft missiles, and armor-piercing weapons, according to senior defense officials who were not authorized to speak publicly. The people of Ukraine have remained unflinching against an adversary bent on their destruction, White House National Security Advisor Jack Sullivan said. But they need our continued support, and they needed it urgently.
The White House and Pentagon have been warning that Ukraine's defenses are weakening under sustained Russian pressure. The last supplemental aid package for Ukraine was approved in December 2022. Since Russia invaded in February 2022, the Pentagon has provided about $30 billion in military aid to Ukraine. The main way of providing aid has been through transferring billions worth of equipment and ammunition from existing Pentagon stocks. Congress has approved funding outside the normal Defense Department budget in supplemental spending to buy replacements. That supplemental money has run out. However, lower than expected spending on replacement equipment has allowed the Pentagon to fund the $300 million package announced Tuesday, the officials said.
Japan's Space One small solid-fuel Kairos rocket exploded shortly after its inaugural launch on Wednesday as the firm tried to become the first Japanese company to put a satellite in orbit. The 59-foot, 4-stage solid-fuel rocket exploded seconds after lifting off just after 11:01 a.m., leaving behind a large cloud of smoke, a fire, fragments of the rocket, and firefighting water sprays near the launch pad, visible on local media live streams of the launch on the tip of mountainous Kii Peninsula in western Japan. Space One said the flight was interrupted after the launch and that it was investigating the situation.
There was no immediate indication of what caused the explosion or whether there were any injuries. Pads typically have no people anywhere nearby during a launch. Space One has said the launch is highly automated and requires roughly a dozen staff members at the ground control center. Kairos carried an experimental government satellite that can temporarily replace intelligence satellites in orbit if they fall offline. Space One had planned the launch for Saturday but postponed it after a ship entered the nearby restricted sea area. Although Japan is a relatively small player in the space race, the nation's rocket developers are scrambling to build cheaper vehicles to capture booming demand for satellite launches from its government and from global clients.
2 New Zealanders, including a 21-year-old ski guide, have been killed in avalanche while backcountry skiing in Japan. New Zealand's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade confirmed to The Guardian 2 people had died in a tragic accident in Hokkaido. A third New Zealander was also injured. According to local media reports, a group of 6 were backcountry skiing on Mount Yotai in the northern Hokkaido region on Monday morning when an avalanche struck at an elevation of 650 to 700 meters on the northern side of the 1,898-meter mountain.
The nearby Kuchen Fire Department was told around 11 a.m. that 3 members of the group had been caught in the avalanche, the Japan Times reported. A man and a woman were taken to hospital unresponsive and later were pronounced dead, while a third person sustained a shoulder injury but was conscious, it reported. In a statement to local New Zealand media, the family of Isabella Bolton confirmed she was a victim of the accident. According to the Sapporo District Meteorological Observatory, no avalanche warning had been issued for the Mount Yotai area, nor was it snowing heavily around the time of the incident, the Japan Times reported. The New Zealand Embassy in Japan has offered consular support to the families of those involved.
Portugal's political future is hanging in the balance after a general election on Sunday, with two moderate mainstream parties closely contesting the race and set to wait weeks for a decision on the winner after an unprecedented surge in support for a populist party that finished third. The center-right Social Democrat-led Democratic Alliance won 79 seats in the 230-seat National Assembly, Portugal's parliament, after all votes cast in Portugal were counted. The center-left Socialist Party, in power for the past 8 years, got 77 seats.
The deciding votes will come from voters abroad to distribute the final 4 parliamentary seats after an election night full of suspense. That count could take more than 2 weeks. The hard-right Chega Enough party came in third with 48 seats, a milestone result that presented an unprecedented challenge to politics as usual, underscoring a drift to the right in the European Union. Smaller parties took the rest of the vote in an election that saw turnout rise to 66%, the highest level in Portugal in years. The moderate Social Democrats and Socialists have alternated in power for decades in Portugal, and the surge in support for a radical right party pointed to a significant shift in Portugal's political landscape and most likely heralded a period of political uncertainty.
OpenAI on Friday announced its new board and the wrap-up of an internal investigation into the events leading up to OpenAI CEO Sam Altman's ouster. Altman will also rejoin OpenAI's board. OpenAI did not publish the investigation report by U.S. law firm WilmerHale, but provided a summary of the findings. The review concluded there was a significant breakdown of trust between the prior board and Sam and Greg, Taylor said, adding that the review also concluded the board acted in good faith and did not anticipate some of the instability that led afterwards.
Taylor also said the board's concerns did not arise regarding concerns over product safety and security, OpenAI's finances or statements to customers or business partners, that it was simply a breakdown in trust between the board and Mr. Altman. WilmerHale's investigation began in December, and the lawyers on Friday submitted their report, which included dozens of interviews with OpenAI's prior board members and advisors, current executives, and other witnesses. The investigation also involved reviewing more than 30,000 documents, according to a release. "We have unanimously concluded that Sam and Greg are the right leaders for OpenAI," Taylor, the chair of OpenAI's board, said in a release.
Ever since her 2020 birth, Fubao has been one of South Korea's biggest celebrities, with fans eagerly following every milestone of her life at Everland Resort's Panda World, a theme park in Yongin City. But the country's most famous and beloved giant panda is set to bid South Korea a final farewell in April, with preparations now on the way for her journey to a new home in China. During the last week of Fubao's public viewing earlier this month, visitors reportedly endured wait times of 5 to 6 hours just to catch a glimpse of the celebrity bear for a mere 5 minutes, as the park restricted viewing times to manage the influx of visitors, according to park officials.
On Fubao's last day of public viewing on March 2nd, she received farewell gifts, including a panda family doll crafted from bamboo, a bouquet of flowers, and heart-shaped pieces of bread from her dedicated keepers at Everland. Born to parents Ai Bao and La Bao in July 2020 as part of China's Panda Diplomacy program, Fubao is South Korea's first naturally bred panda. In the days following her birth, Everland's social media channels offered fans a steady diet of Fubao videos, with its YouTube channel pulling in more than 1.2 million subscribers and, as of February, surpassing 500 million cumulative views. In an announcement from Everland, the company says Fubao will be transferred to the China Conservation and Research Center for the giant panda in Sichuan province in early April.
The answer for yesterday was B, spurred. I was spurred into action by the letter. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of Japan's Space One Kairos rocket explodes on inaugural flight. Number 1. Fragment. 碎片,片段. The shattered vase lay in fragments on the floor. Number 2. Mountainous. 多山的. The factory is in a mountainous region about 600 kilometers from the capital city. Number 3. Relatively. 相当程度上,相当的,相对的. Lack of exercise is also a risk factor for heart disease, but it's relatively small when compared with the others. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.